The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Hello, Lobo fans, and welcome into the final football edition of the Lobo Coaches Show for 2021. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzalez. Coach G, great to be with you for a final time. And you guys had a senior day against Utah State. A lot of good things, but then too many big pass plays. This was a different one in terms of the way that the secondary wasn't able to keep guys in front of them. Other than that, what did you like about your performance in this one?
Well, I thought they played hard and fought to the end. I thought it was the first time that all season long an opponent didn't try and score as many points as they could. I thought Coach Anderson was kind to us in the second half, and they just ran the ball. Now, they couldn't run it with much success, and they couldn't early on in the game either, but he didn't try and run at the score, which is kind of him. They put the game out of hand with 4 big plays over the top. We knew if we could play man coverage, we'd have a chance to win the game, and obviously we couldn't. So we weren't able to score enough points, and the defense gave up big plays, so we lost.
One of the positives, a career performance for a player who wasn't even on your roster at the start of the year. Peyton Dixon had his best game as a Lobo.
He did. He's a walk-on kid that really gave us a little opportunity with some success in the backfield. Rushed for 95 yards as a freshman. We didn't have him eligible for the majority of the season. He's been around since week 2, and Eric and those guys did a great job in the compliance department of getting him eligible, and we needed him on Saturday just to have a chance. So I'm proud of the young man. He fought his way. He was a great scout team guy for the most part of the year and got an opportunity.
We've been highlighting the performance of Joey Noble all season long, and how cool for him at the end of the final game of his career that he moves into the top 10 in single season rankings for TFLs in a season.
It's outstanding, and I think he's one of the best D linemen in our league. We'll see what the All Mountain West Conference comes about, but I'm not going to shy away from those comments. He's one of the most productive, obviously, and for him to do that, to get in the top 10 is a really cool deal.
Speaking of the seniors, you had a guy who was a graduate manager turn into your quarterback. Final 3 weeks, he was active and eligible, and he started for you the last game of the year. Bryson Carroll got to throw a touchdown pass.
He did, and I'm really proud of Bryson for what he was willing to do for our football team. That's not easy. I mean, a young man hasn't practiced really for 10 months since we were in Vegas, and he came back with an opportunity to try and help his football team. Obviously, you can tell there's a big difference between somebody who's been working out all year and working out for 3 weeks. He did throw a touchdown pass, so I told him I'd quit giving him grief about not scoring against Colorado State, and I'm proud of the effort that he gave and what he did for our program.
We talked about this leading up to the week and the final game of the season, that you have 20 seniors that you celebrated before this game that are kind of the ones that laid the foundation for what you hope will happen down the road?
They are. I'm really proud of that group. They've had to listen to their head coach talk about how they're not good enough, about how we need better players, about how you can't go down the JC route, and the majority of them are. So I give them a lot of credit for sticking through that. I haven't made the nicest comments, but I'm really proud of them. They fought through and they wanted to be a part of it, and they've done exactly what you said. They've laid the foundation for the future.
You don't ever want to see serious injury, but the Lobos have one just minutes before the end of the season. And Lobo fans want to know how Radson Jang is doing, who really did something so impressive for you, playing center at about 245 pounds.
That is part of the problem. He was 245 pounds. He got rolled up from behind, and it was really gruesome. I thank Coach Anderson for coming out and praying over him out there on the field. He'll have surgery on Tuesday. They're really positive with the result and what the outcome of the surgery will be. We'll know more Tuesday afternoon. But Radson plans on coming back, and he wants to compete. And so hopefully that goes well on Tuesday, and we'll know more.
Okay. Great to hear that he's going to be okay. After this timeout, we come back with first half highlights of the Lobos in Utah State on Senior Day at University Stadium. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Welcome back into your Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzalez. It's time now to look at first half highlights of the Lobos hosting Utah State on Senior Day at University Stadium.
Well, once again, we got the ball first. We weren't able to do anything. I thought Dante Martin did a nice job with the kickoff returns on the day, and they were afraid of what we were able to do back there. They only kicked it to us a real quick once. I mean, that one we come up without the ground. Right there, I thought Bryson should have pulled the ball. If he'd have pulled it, it would have been very similar to the first play of UNLV. But that's a guy with not a lot of reps, missing the read, and so we had to punt on our first series. I thought it was Aaron had a good day on the day, and give that guy some courage for not wanting to fair catch and getting knocked like that and making the play. Now here, we did a good job against their running game. We knew they'd have a hard time running the ball against us. We weren't going to overload the box. We thought we could play some man coverage. We got out on a 3-and-out on the first series. It wasn't until the next series that they were able to catch us. Go ahead.
That was your first carry from Peyton Dixon. We talked about him almost getting a 100-yard rush game. 32 in the cherry was big for you offensively.
He was, and he's banged up a little bit. You saw he had a cast on his hand. He'll get that taken care of here now. This was the first double play move. They got Corey Hightower on the double move right there. It was unfortunate because we had got him to a second and third down and we weren't able to get off the field, and they were able to capitalize. And then this one right here, I thought it hurt. We got a first down here. We're going to get an opportunity. We have a 4th and short, and they stop us. 1st and 5, you got to be able to convert for touchdowns, not be stopped on 4th down.
You can see the fresh legs of Dixon, not having been in there the entire season. He had some juice in this game.
Oh, that definitely makes a difference. He was a lot fresher than a lot of our guys, and he gave us a chance to hit some of those explosive plays up in there. I mean, here's one where they're going to mark it short. I thought he got the first down on the 3rd down run. But then right here, we've got to be able to convert that. I mean, that's a nice job of getting off a block, but we've got to be able to convert 4th and 1s because I'm going to keep going for him. I mean, it is.
Is that one where maybe he sticks the right foot in the ground, just get up field inside of that guy, and then maybe he can get there?
There was a chance. I mean, he could have probably hit it up inside and made a cut to his left also. There was a little bit of a seam there, but I mean, that's something we've got to address in the offseason. But once again, I thought he did a nice job running the ball between the tackles on the day.
So what about defending them? You talked about being able to bottle up their run game. What was it about the pass plays over the top that made it that Utah State was the team that was able to do that more than any other this year?
They beat us guy for guy right here. Dante fell down, and unfortunately, Dante landed on his wrist awkwardly, dislocated 4 bones in his wrist, so he'll have surgery on Tuesday. He'll miss most of spring ball. He was getting better. He just stumbled. He thought his knee gave out, and he fell on his wrist, and they were able to get open. A couple other times now here's Michael Buckley, a walk-on freshman receiver who gave us a little bit of spark in the kickoff return game.
Nice to see the opportunity for some people that didn't get it early on take advantage of it late in the year.
Yeah, here's another nice run by Bobby Wooden off the fly sweep. Bobby started to come into his own in the last couple games. He'll help us next year. We've got a lot of freshmen, especially true freshmen, that are producing high within the conference standings. We've got some of the best freshmen in this league.
And there's Wooden again, and the fact that he was able to take advantage, we talked about getting an opportunity. You had no Dumas, you had no Cole, so it was going to be Wooden, and he stepped up.
Between Peyton and Bobby, I thought they did a nice job. There was a pass interference on that call that was on a 3rd down. We had jumped off sides also, so the pass interference wasn't what gave him the touchdown. I didn't agree with the call. We can't jump off sides, and then Tavian got beaten route. The free safety should intercept that ball. Ronald Wilson right here makes a great play in coverage, and then we get run by in cloud coverage, a form of zone coverage where the guy runs by us. He looks like he's significantly faster. I thought Ronald had a bad day in the passing game. He was really good in the run support, but there's an example of a true freshman playing 12 games, and that's a lot of games for a guy that hasn't been in a weight room and come straight out of high school.
This is impressive. You're running the ball 3rd and 15, and look at the finish of this run here by Dixon to get to the line.
It just goes to show you we're going to have a couple guys in the backfield. We get Nate Jones back next year. We have the potential to have Bobby Cole back, Peyton Dixon. We have a couple of freshmen that we have committed that I think will be really good players. So we've got a chance in the backfield to make some things happen.
This drive, again, is going to come up, the 4th down conversions. They've been a story of this season, haven't they?
They have. And between the scheme of it and the execution of it, we've got to get better because that's going to be our personality as a football team.
This throwback to the tight end, we'll see it again later in the game. It's been a good play for you the entire season. Because
the guys up front sell it and we've had some success running the ball, the tight ends have done a great job hiding, and then they come wide open. We're going to get a touchdown out of it later.
There's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that helps you guys out with field position. And Connor Janal, I thought he made some nice throws in this game.
He did. There's a nice catch by Austin Erickson, who got up, no big deal, stayed in the game. I thought Connor did a nice job. He came in and was able to sustain some drives. We just couldn't do anything in the first half to put points on the board. Here's another 4th down. They hard charged the quarterback. If we hand that ball should have been handed off. if he hands that ball off, it looks like there's going to be a chance to get the first down.
Your defense does a nice job here, though, at the end of the half.
I thought that was a great play by A.J. Odom. They try and throw a screen. There was about 17 seconds. Right after this play, there's about 17 seconds left. We get the sack. I called timeout right here, not to get the ball back, but so that they couldn't let the clock run down to 1 second and try and throw a Hail Mary. We were going to force them to punt. If they wanted to go for it on fourth down at the 50-yard line, then we'd give ourselves a chance. Nice sack by Joey Noble.
So we talked about Joey Noble in our open, and in this particular instance, he gets 2 sacks, 3 total TFLs. He climbs into the top 10 all-time with 18.5 tackles for loss on the year. And if we still counted TFLs the same way we used to, he'd be second overall. That's amazing.
You know, Ryan Taylor was a teammate of mine who owns the record at 22. He was a heck of a player. They didn't count half sacks back then, so what Joey's done is even more remarkable.
Yeah, a half sack back then was just a full sack, or a half TFL was a full TFL. I wonder what that number would be for Joey this season.
Yeah, there's a good chance that, I don't know, we'll have to ask Frank.
All right, it's time for us to take a timeout. When we come back on the other side of the break, we look at second half highlights, the Lobos and Utah State on Senior Day at University Stadium. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. We're back on your Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzalez. It's time for New Mexico and Utah State second half highlights from University Stadium.
We challenged our guys at halftime to come out and fight because the game was well in hand and we weren't moving the ball on offense. If we could get a couple turnovers on defense or maybe score on defense, maybe we'd have a chance to get back in the game. I thought they came out and fought, but like I said, I thought Coach Anderson was kind to us and didn't try and run up the score in the fourth quarter. They were trying to score in the third quarter, and they only got 1 touchdown, but they didn't try and run it up on us.
One of the tougher runs we've seen from Connor Janal.
Thought he did a nice job pulling that ball to get the first down on 3rd and long. Here's Bobby Wooden again. I thought he made a couple of nice plays to get up the field vertical. Bobby started to come into his own the last couple weeks. I think he'll really help us next year.
What did you think of a second week, and here's another hit from Janal to Trace Bruckler. Bruckler, as good a receiver as you had all season. In terms of alternating between Carroll and Janal, did it work better this week?
Oh, it did. Connor threw the ball a little bit better. We obviously had to run the ball a little bit with Connor in there, so they didn't know it was going to be a pass every time. And because of that, you saw the success that Connor had on the time he pulled it. We ran a couple option plays with Connor that he did a nice job executing. So I thought the plan worked better because they were expecting him to throw the ball, and we actually did some different things with him.
Yes, a completed pass on the previous play, but Cody Moon flying around on defense at linebacker, he's really going to be something, isn't he?
He is. He's young. He needs to get bigger and stronger. When he does that, he'll be a really good player. Unfortunately, the 6'10 guy versus a 6-foot guy, really 5'11", you're going to lose that battle most of the time unless you can box him out of bounds, and we weren't able to, so that was their lone touchdown in the second half.
Speaking of 5'11", that's 5'6" or 5'7" at quarterback. Bryson Carroll taking off and picking up positive yardage, and you guys get into 3rd and short here.
You know that there's a good execution right there to get the first down by Peyton. Bryson goes to show you that if you haven't been practicing for 10 months, there's some things that your legs get a little wary, the ball handling, but you have to give him a lot of credit because what we asked him to do is not easy. He was willing to do it, and I thought he did a remarkable job for the circumstance.
Handles a tough snap there, escapes, and then completes a beautiful throw. This was a well-designed play.
I thought both him and Austin did a great job of keeping the play alive, and Bryson showed his athletic ability right here, making the guy miss and executing the play all the way throughout.
We saw again, it's so cool to see when Austin and Andrew Erickson line up next to each other in a formation. They both figured in this game for you.
They did. We decided to go for a field goal here instead of going for a 4th and short. Andrew came in and nailed it, and all that did was keep us from getting shut out at that point in the game.
So Andrew Shelley, one of the 20 seniors that was celebrated before the game, could be his final field goal as a Lobo.
It could. We'll have to see. I mean, he had a quad injury that he was dealing with, and I thought he did a nice job of getting himself available on game day. There's Jarek Reed, did a nice job of forcing the ball back inside, and we had some pursuit. There was a personal foul penalty on them. It could have gone either way. Both guys were getting a little bit chippy, and they caught the second guy on that one. This was unfortunate. Andrew's got to catch that ball. If we're going to make an attempt at it, you got to field it so that we don't turn the ball over. I thought the defense did a nice job of getting out here. They get the ball at the 40-yard line going in, and we held them to a field goal attempt that they missed.
Is that one because of the traffic where maybe he's better served to just leave it alone?
Well, if he calls a fair catch and calls him off, he'll have a lot cleaner chance. That's execution. He missed a couple days in practice because of being sick. There's Joey Noble on another tackle for loss, an outstanding job right there on that stunt. If we can do that, if we can practice that a little bit better and he calls fair catch, we'll probably get guys away from him.
There's pursuit from Tavian Combs, and you've got a player for a long time in that young man.
I think Tavian's going to be an outstanding player. He'll only get better and better, and there's the missed field goal opportunity. So the defense did their job on the turnover, keeping him out of the end zone.
So what about the way the offense operated here in the fourth quarter, and you guys are going to go down and score an offensive touchdown?
We do. We drove the ball. Now, they put in their second and thirds in at this point. We were able to execute, though. I thought Connor did a nice job moving the ball. I mean, there was one I thought Zarek could get that one. We're going to move it down here in a second and score a touchdown. But I thought the guys on defense, they kept fighting. I mean, we have some pride. If you look at the score in the second half, it was 10-7. But like I said, Coach Anderson was being kind.
Bryce Santana there helping combine with Deion Hunter on a tackle. And now here's one, no fair catch, and it works out for Andrew.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted a fair catch on the first one either. I think he was being aggressive. We just got to make the catch. And then this is a drive. I thought Bryson did a nice job of executing this. There's a nice tackle right there for Blake Wells, a nice catch from a local product. And we get the first down here on a 3rd and 1. We were going to go for it anyway.
And there's a play where Ratson Jang is injured, and this is the response from both teams.
Well, you know, like I said, Coach Anderson came and prayed over him. I thought it was awesome, and that just shows respect for the game.
Now Peyton Dixon breaks one outside, and you guys are almost to a goal-to-goal scenario here.
You know, there's an instance of fresh legs, and I thought the guys up front did a nice job blocking. He made the most of it.
So you're going to go back to a play that's been extremely effective for you all season, and it kind of bookends for me because Kyle Jarvis caught on a throwback to the tight end the first touchdown of the year against HBU. This is the final one of the year. Same play, other side of the formation, and Jarvis scores it.
I thought it was cool for Bryson to be able to connect with Kyle on that, and I shared with Bryson right there that I'd give him no more grief about Colorado State for getting us the ball in the end zone. I just wish we could have done it, kept him out of the end zone on defense and coverage, and then we'd have had a better chance to compete for the longevity of the game.
That play there right before the final kneel down. And I do want to ask you about this. We'll go back to the play in a minute. That's a good friend of yours there, Blake Anderson. I'm sure you congratulated him. They win the conference title berth. They get into the conference championship game by winning the division. I
told them good luck. I'd known that somebody had told me that San Diego State had beaten Boise, so they could book their trip to L.A. My message to him, and I've shared this with a lot of them, give me a couple of years. We'll give you a better match.
For sure. Mm-hmm. The last TFL there, right before the kneel down, that was the one Joey Noble was in on, and that put him into the top 10 all time in single season tackles for loss. It's something we've talked about a lot, but it is what you want all of your players to have. What is it about his motor that makes him special?
He don't stop. Doesn't matter the situation. Doesn't matter if the ball's wiggling. He tries to get a piece. He's aggressive. He wants to run to the ball everywhere. He thinks every play is going to be his. And you want all 11 of them to think that way.
Okay, when we come back on the other side, we put a ribbon on 2021 with Lobo head football coach Danny Gonzalez. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Back to wrap up our final edition for football season of your Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach Danny Gonzalez. I'm Robert Portnoy, and Coach G, New Mexico heads into recruiting hard right now. I mean, this is big time with the signing day a couple of weeks away, and you got you guys out on the road, right?
All of them. Myself and Coach Long were in the office on Monday to continue. I mean, I rely on him for a lot. He'll hit the road here in the next couple of days, and then I'll be out back and forth. We're on a total evaluation of our program from top to bottom. There will be some changes made from the top to the bottom, and we'll figure those out as we go. But the most important thing right now is to go find players, and that's where the coaches are at.
2 weeks from now on GoLobos.com, we'll have a National Signing Day show with Coach. What are the biggest needs?
Obviously, we need to continue to find a quarterback. We've got a high school commit. We'll go and find a grad transfer. There's some more junior college kids that aren't being recruited because of the transfer portal. You can't take a whole team of them. The 64 we took in a 3-year period, we can't do that, and nor will we. We're going to continue to build it with freshmen. We might use a couple of those spots for transfer portal. I'm a little bit leery on JC guys, but There's less of them being recruited, so you've got a little bit of a chance there. And then obviously we need to get better in the secondary and up front.
A team that now defensively is in the top 50 in the nation. You're making progress on that side of the ball. I know you want to see more progress on the other side of the ball. What about the outlook for the offense in 2022 and what it'll look like?
I still think the triple option will be a big part of our running game, but we have to be able to throw the ball. And if you compare to Coastal Carolina on offense, I think they do a really good job throwing the football and still having some triple option aspects. So, I mean, that if people are going to scout us for next year, go watch them.
What are your biggest takeaways from 2021? Obviously, 2020 so strange, shortened season, 7 games, COVID, you're away from home the entire year. This is your first full season. You said year 2 might be harder than year 1. What are the biggest takeaways?
We're not a strong football team. We've missed a lot of time in the weight room. We weren't strong before I got here. We missed a lot of time in the weight room because of COVID. We're still not very strong. So that'll be the main focus, is getting stronger. We're going to start spring ball really early, February 8th. So that we can get a longer period in the weight room after that. I think that's the most important focus of our program now. Playing hard and some of those things that I don't think we do a good job can be handled in the offseason and will be handled in the offseason.
Final question, about 30 seconds. Speed at the skill positions on offense, too, something you're looking for?
Absolutely. I think we need a running back that can go the distance every time he touches it. And I think we've got a couple wide receivers that can do that right now. We just have to find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah, some game breakers.
We need some.
Some of those guys the Lobos are recruiting, we'll find out about on the NLI show coming up in 2 weeks at golobos.com. That'll do it for us. So long, everybody, and go Lobos.